Hey guys, today I have another spinner review, and this one is one by Infinite Spin. Now you may remember them from the review of this little guy. This was their first spinner. I don't think it actually has a name, but you remember how I raved about it in the review. I love this spinner. And so whenever I was contacted by them again asking if I'd want to review their newest one, this one's called the Proton, of course I said yes. So I'm going to be going through and talking about this spinner. First off, I want to mention the packaging. Pretty nice. I mean, nice little tin carry case, and I like how now they've implemented their logo onto the spinner opposed to it being sterile. You know, it's nice to have a little maker's mark. However, it is eerily similar to that of the torque bar, but you know. Alright, so first I wanted to talk about the spin time on this one. This one's much lighter. It's lighter even than the Stubby Light. It's more along the weight of more of the 3D printed ones, or the new, pulling out of my pocket, just a review on it though, this one, my favorite spinner, the Grimsmo spinner. They're about around the same weight. Now, while the lightweight does make it easier to carry, it does kind of diminish the spin time. So you're not going to be getting the same, 4 minutes of spin time, 5 minutes that you got on the Infinite Spin. This one clocks in more around a 3-minute mark. And that was a pretty big difference, and that's one that they told me about in the email. Whenever they were describing this item, they said it's a lighter version, a more carryable version. And I think that that's a good thing, because this one, as much as I like it, is a little bit difficult to fit and carry every day in that little watch pocket. It can be done, but it's more obtrusive and it gets in the way of the knife. This, however, does not. So that's a big plus right there. But anyway, we're talking about spin time. Like I said, around the 3-minute mark. Mine is 3.5 minutes sometimes. But I'm happy with that, because like I said, spin time is a good way to kind of measure the quality. But you really don't need anything that spins longer than 30 seconds, honestly, because you're not going to be letting it spin for more than that. At least I don't. I don't know what other people do. The next thing that's very interesting is the shape. It's not your normal 2-peg design, and it's not your 3-peg either. The shape is almost like if someone took a stubby and then milled a bunch of pockets out of it, and this is what you get, a bunch of steep towers here. And I don't know, that's just how I'm going to explain it, little ridges. And as far as looks go, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it. It's a little chunky and broad and stuff, but I'm not against it. And one thing that some people said is it looks more masculine than some of the other ones, which is a good thing, I guess, because you don't want to be going around with a feminine fidget spinner. They're already frowned upon as it is. Anyway, as far as its spinning goes with the shape, I can't deny it. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you use it right, it's relatively easy to spin it well, because most of the time when you go to flick it, your finger lands in one of these many ridges and valleys. So it's really easy to gain traction on it and spin it all day long. And I've had several people, because of the shape, they've said that this is their favorite spinner out of my collection, which I'm like, what? The same one with the torque bar and, the new Grimsmo? Even though, granted, I just got this one a couple days ago, so not a lot of people have handled this one. But yeah, they've said this one's their favorite because of that. So, I mean, I guess you can't deny the functionality and the results of that. As far as the size goes, it's definitely much smaller than the original Infinite Spin. And it's stubbier than the Grimsmo, as much are, and it's around the same height as the torque bar, or the stubby. So if you have any of those, then you'll know. Here's are these the same size? I think the Halo's a little smaller, but these are a couple of 3D printed ones, so there you go as a size comparison. I hate the 3D printed ones, honestly. You will never find me carrying those again except for review purposes, which once you review one, you review them all. So anyway. Another thing that I like about the spinner is what Infinite Spin has been doing right since the get-go, and it's having thick, well-dished thumb pads. So if you look at this one, and you see I stick my finger in it, you can see that it's got a nice dishing to it compared to something maybe like the torque bar, which does have some dishing, but definitely not to the same extent. And it's very thick, allowing it for giving you comfortable spinning. A comfortable spinning experience, and it doesn't feel like you're sandwiching your fingers together. So that's definitely a good thing, and it gives you a very enjoyable spinning experience. Now let's look at the internals. Now I did have one complaint about the internals on the original spinner by Infinite Spin, and first off, it was that I couldn't get one of the thumb discs out of it. Even if I pushed it in with the other one, it just wouldn't budge. But as you can see, these come out perfectly fine, no problems. You see the bearings in here are your typical high quality ceramic stainless hybrid bearings that work perfectly fine, and they're the same ones you'll find in the torque bar and the stubby. And so that's awesome for the price, which is around $40. Also, this little ring here does not come loose easy like the other one. The other one I had issues of this loosening, but this one, it's in there and it's not moving, so I don't have to worry about this big screw screwing out and messing up my spin time. So that's awesome. Another thing that's great is that everything's polished on the inside. I really like seeing that. I am confused why the ring doesn't come all the way over here, but you know, whatever. It works. So the finish or the fit in the bearings are also really well, or fit really well. However, it does have some flex. Let me get this button back in here and I'll show you. Whoops. There you go. You can see that the buttons do have a little bit of flex, which is typical what you'd expect. It has a little bit more than usual and a little bit more than this one, but nothing to worry about there. The materials of all this is some sort of hybrid stainless steel. I know the ones that they used on their last spinner was some hybrid brass. So not the best stuff out there, but definitely not 3D printed crap. So last thing I wanted to talk about on this spinner is the sound. It's nice and quiet. It was the quietest spinner I've ever had whenever I first got it, but over time it's gotten to be around the same sound level as, or decibel level, or whatever you want to call, as this one, and it's definitely not going to disrupt anyone you spinning this. And that's another thing about size. I always love spinners whenever they're smaller, and that whenever you spin them, you don't have to worry about, you know, you don't have to worry about distracting other people, because that kind of gets rid of the point of having a fidget spinner. And you know, this is an amazing product that Infinite Spin put on at a great price point. Definitely recommended to anyone who wants a high quality spinner that they're not going to spend big dollars on. And you know, I like how they polished the weights instead of having them tinted a color. I think I dinged this on that in my review. I dinged this on that. Alright, that doesn't... Sorry, I need to use better pronouns. Anyway, definitely recommend it. I have a coupon in the bottom in the description of this review in case you want to use that and save, I think it was 15% or something. But that's my review. If you want to see more on fidget spinners, definitely like my channel and give me a thumbs up.